Laws are made to protect the innocent. Imagine being sentenced to death for a crime you didn't commit. This is the dark reality for Clinton Lee Young, who was wrongly convicted of murder and sentenced to death based on faulty evidence and legal missteps. How did a system designed for justice fail so dramatically? What series of events led to this tragic error? This isn't just a story of wrongful conviction, it's a tale of resilience and a relentless quest for truth. Let's go through the twists and turns in Clinton Lee Young's fight for justice and freedom. The next few minutes will just shock you. Imagine being in prison for nearly 20 years for no reason. You're waiting and hoping for justice. That's what happened to Clinton Lee Young. An innocent man was caught in a terrible mistake and ended up spending a major part of his life in jail. How did he end up in the shadow of death? Let's get into the details of this tale of betrayal, hope, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Clinton Lee Young's life started like any other teenager's in a small Texas town. He had dreams of doing something big and living a normal life, but then everything changed. He was suddenly accused of killing 2 people. How does a young man just out of his teens deal with such a charge? The tragic chain of events began with the murders of Doyle Douglas and Samuel Petrie. The victims were found dead in separate locations in East Texas. When people heard Clinton Lee Young was the main suspect, they didn't believe it. He was arrested, turning his life upside down in 2001. The media portrayed him as a ruthless killer, and it painted a different picture of Young for his loved ones who knew him. In their eyes, he was a young man of promise, tragically caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. The roles of Mark Ray, Darnell McCoy, and David Page were pivotal in this case. These men, involved in the crimes themselves, turned the tables on Young. They portrayed him as the mastermind behind the murders. Sadly, the prosecution eagerly embraced this narrative. But was there more to the story than met the eye? During the trial, the evidence against Young seemed overwhelming. The testimonies of Ray, McCoy, and Page painted a damning picture. In addition to telling their stories in court, they really influenced the trial proceedings. Their stories had gaps, and they seemed like they were trying to save themselves from trouble. Despite these issues, they convinced the jury. This led to Young being wrongly found guilty. The sad situation showed that these 3 men were trying to protect themselves. It also revealed problems in the justice system, where such stories can hide the truth. Young, with limited resources and a defense that struggled against the tide of accusations, was found guilty. In 2003, he was sentenced to death, a verdict that sent shockwaves through his family and supporters. For Young, life on death row was a relentless struggle against despair. His mental and emotional strength were pushed to their absolute limits. Living in a state of constant vigilance, he faced the grim possibility that any day might be his last. Did you know, in the United States, as of 2023, over 2,331 inmates were on death row, each facing a similar fate? Young witnessed the execution of fellow inmates, a stark reminder of what could await him. Despite the grim reality of his situation, he never lost hope. He battled not just for his life, but for his very spirit. He firmly maintained his innocence, believing in the power of truth. Behind bars, his case caught the attention of activists and legal experts. They closely examined the evidence and testimonies leading to his conviction. Statistics showed that in about 4.1% of capital sentences, the defendant is later found innocent. What they uncovered in the case was alarming. The case was riddled with inconsistencies and doubtful practices. The testimonies were scrutinized and seemed self-serving. They appeared more focused on reducing guilt than revealing the truth. This is a common issue, as co-defendants often shift blame to mitigate their own sentences. In these dark times, activists and legal experts really helped Clinton Lee Young in his fight for justice. They believed he was innocent. They used the internet and other ways to spread the word about the injustices he faced. This wasn't just about Young, though. It was a call to look closely at the death penalty and the legal system. The wave of public support brought much-needed attention to his case, urging a second look at the facts. Can you imagine the strength that comes from such widespread support? Legal experts began scrutinizing the evidence and testimonies that led to the conviction. The breakthrough in Young's case was multifaceted. Firstly, there was the issue of forensic evidence. The evidence presented against Young during the initial trial was considered undeniable. Upon closer examination, it was discovered that there were significant mishandlings and misinterpretations of the evidence. This revelation raised serious doubts about the integrity of the evidence used to convict Young. Secondly, the testimonies of the co-defendants, which were pivotal in their original conviction, came under scrutiny. Over time, the inconsistencies in their stories began to surface, and further investigation revealed that self-preservation motives might have coerced or influenced these testimonies. This raised questions about the credibility of the evidence that had once seemed so damning. Armed with new evidence, Young's legal team filed for a retrial. The process was arduous, filled with legal hurdles and setbacks, but Young's resolve never wavered. After years of legal battles, in 2021, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals finally acknowledged the flaws in Young's trial and overturned his conviction. Finally, some good news. On October 14, 2021, after nearly 20 years on death row, Young was released from prison. The moment he walked out and embraced his family was poignant and heart-wrenching. This decision was based on a careful and comprehensive review of all the new information presented. The court's decision recognized the chance of a mistake in Young's case, showing that the legal system isn't perfect. Before we continue, a quick pause. If the story of the innocent Clinton Lee Young has gripped you, please hit like and subscribe for more disturbing chapters of human history. And hey, why not share this video with a friend who's equally fascinated by these incredible survival stories? Let's continue with this story and where he is now. His release warrants were the thing everyone was waiting for. The decision was an emotional victory for Young, his family, and supporters. Can you imagine the profound relief and renewed hope they must be feeling? For Young, it's not just a legal win, it's an opportunity to rebuild his life and officially clear his name. The moment he walked out and embraced his family was emotional and heart-wrenching. The video of his reunion with his sister and mother after 18 long years is a powerful testament to the strength of the human spirit. Curious about where he is now? Since his release, Young has become an advocate for justice reform. His experience has given him a unique perspective on the flaws in the criminal justice system. He speaks out about his experience, hoping to prevent similar injustices from happening to others. His advocacy is not just about his own story, but a call to change the system. Today, Clinton Lee Young is a free man. He's working hard to rebuild his life, a life that was unjustly taken from him. The journey has been challenging. The scars of his long punishment are deep. Yet, his determination to move forward is truly inspiring. He stands as a symbol of resilience and a beacon of hope for those fighting against wrongful convictions. His story is a reminder of the ongoing struggle for justice and the importance of standing up for what is right. This trial isn't only about proving he's innocent, it's also about showing why we need a fair legal system. What happens here goes beyond just this case. It's about trying to make things fair in a system that's not perfect. The prospect of returning to court might be daunting, but Young is prepared. Alongside his supporters, he remains hopeful that justice will finally be served. How does Young's story and resilience resonate with you on a personal level? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Until next time.